Thank you for joining us for this special talkback. I am your keeper, Chris Cologne, and with that, let's introduce our cast before we get into this talkback, starting off with C.
I've gone first for literally every single time we've done this here show together, and every time I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna go first. And then it happens, and here we are. Hi everyone, my name is C. I use they them pronouns. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet at PieSharpArt. I play Eden, who uses they he pronouns, and we're gonna talk all about that sad little wet rat together later. But I'll save that. And I'll pass it over to my twin, Vin.
Hi guys, I'm Vin at VinVoxVia on Twitter. I play Heaven, your divine. I almost said chosen, and it's been a couple episodes already. Uh, let's unpack that, but not right now. I'm gonna throw it over to CJ.
Hello. I think I only muted one mic, so if I'm talking and everyone can hear me, then I don't need to change screens. But hi, everyone. I am CJ. They, them pronouns. I play Vic. She, they, he pronouns. We're the monstrous. Yes, me too. That's it. That's all I got. Passing it to Hum now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Humna. I use any and all pronouns, and I play Misfit, who uses he, they pronouns. And Misfit is the summoned. And I will pass it over back to Chris.
Thank you so very much. Also, fair warning, in case you didn't know, this is going to be some spoilers. So, potential spoilers, because we're going through our episodes so far before we hit our season finale part 1 this week, which is going to be Thursday, and you can check it out there. But with that, let's get into it. So, it's been a very crazy ride. I've broken the players several times, and I think just to start us off here, everybody, you could, go at your own pace. What was your favorite moment so far from this shenanigery that is season 1?
How are we supposed to choose a favorite moment, Chris?
You gotta choose for top 10 at least. Top 10. I don't think that helped. I think that only made it worse. I can start off. Start off here. I think one of my favorite moments is, again, I think one of my favorite episodes is episode 5. I talked about this before with the cast. It was just, it hit so good. It was in the sense of it helped really propel everything. But I think one of my favorite moments is watching Eden's 3-act play of their deepest regrets. It was not only great part on T for that performance, but also just the pure terror of it all. Because God forbid on a stage with people and you're just letting everybody just seeing that, it's gotta be horrifying. And I think it worked out so very well for the characters. I loved that part.
One of my favorite moments, I think, was the Heaven Vic gay love wins moment. Gay love wins and also kills that super asshole guy who's been trying to kill us this whole time. Gay love giveth and gay love taketh away, as I like to call that scene in my brain. I thought that it was very gay. That was one of my favorite scenes, I have to say, of the whole show.
I
I
can
think
go.
one of
Oh, no,
go ahead.
you can go. Nope.
Oh,
No, you
shucks, there
go.
we go. Um, one of my favorites had literally the first scene of the first episode, like having all the characters introduced in like this action sequence, much like a TV show. It was super cool. And then we winded to everyone meeting for the first time. Luckily, we had like a session 0.5 and got like some chemistry together beforehand, and it just made the perfect starting moment for this chaotic crew.
My favorite moment, and I think it's just because I was watching a clip of it recently, was the Vic conversation with Eden in particular. Because I think it is and I stand by this, and I will stand by this continuously, is the only moment in which Vic is like competent and knows what to say.
Icon.
That's so funny. Uh, I am terrible at having favorites of anything. You should never ask me what my favorite of anything is. But one moment that I really liked was Oh, I had an answer and now I've forgotten it. Oh, right. It was when Eden went down to hell and talked to my dad. Honestly, that whole scene was absolutely unhinged. It was I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. And then when it did happen, I was not expecting the conversation to go the way that it did. So that was a lot in the best way.
I had to hold myself during that scene because it's like your son calls me daddy, and I was just like I was supposed to be playing a very serious person, and all I wanted to do was like, damn, just like he's like, who does that?
I'm pretty sure I
Smack down
passed away hearing that.
I was just like, ah.
We lost the entire frame, like just completely out of frame, and I knew that my job had been done well.
That's how you know when your job is done. It's just someone just completely disappears. It just
I could
you have
not.
to-
I could not stay. I could not.
So we got a question, Chad. What is Monster Week? Monster Week is a lovely Powered by the Apocalypse game, which is about a bunch of hunters hunting monsters. So it's very similar to shows like Supernatural and Hellboy, where it's just a bunch of people trying to hunt monsters and stuff. And it gets really fun and chaotic, as we can see here. And we had the bright idea of, instead of being normal people trying to fight these things, as a normal person probably would have died by now. I think probably 4 at least would have died. They're all monsters in a way, shape, or form, which is a very lovely idea, and I think it was really good. And I think it leads into probably like another question we can ask was, as Vin brought up, we did that session 0, and kind of what was your guys' thinking into creating these characters? Because I didn't know what we were gonna go into because I was like, there's so many. It's possibilities and also limitations because Monster of the Week is mostly normal people. But it was very interesting to see what you all brought to the table. So yeah, so tell me your guys thinking when you were making these feral creatures.
I think for me, I came into it. So I had this idea even before this show happened of there's this Islamic like myth story thing about the 5 children of the devil, and each child has their own domain that they're like responsible for, and it's like this whole thing. Specifically, they're like the 5 sons of the devil, and I seeing that, like learning about that story, I was like, that is a really cool idea. And it would actually be really neat. I originally had this idea of like, oh, it'd be really neat to maybe like play a campaign in which like we all played like one of the children of the devil or something, and like that kind of thing happened. But when we came into this campaign specifically, hearing all of the sort of the premise of the show and everything like that, it felt like a good place to sort of like slot that kind of character in, especially seeing the different playbooks that were offered. I was like, oh, there's lots of playbooks that would like allow me to play this kind of character, and I really wanted to like lean into playing whenever we play games that are like centered around monsters and things like that. I always like to sort of question like what is the line between a monster and like a human or like a person, and like how do we categorize the two things and whatnot. So I already knew like when we were kind of coming into this that I wanted to play something or someone that was straddling that line that like would make that theme kind of come to light. So it was kind of like a no-brainer for me to be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna play like a monster of some kind. And this story was like in the back of my head already before we had our session 0 and before we did session 0.5. So it was just kind of like a nice happy coincidence where I could just kind of slot everything together.
Yeah, I loved Misfoot so much when we were making, because it gave me, because one of the things I asked was about NPCs, because it's like you've lived a life with these characters here of who what, and it's just like here's a family, and it's like, especially with, I got to learn more about that as well because I never knew about that particular legend or kind of lore around that section of the devil having 5 children. So it was very interesting to read. And I also did a little bit more research into just the backstory of Iblis, which is, again, it was very interesting to, because I love history. I also love learning about other cultures and whatnot. So it was a real fun time to take this and then interpret it of guys. Okay, how did 5 children of this guy turn out? And it was real fun to bring them to life, especially Tyr was also one of the best ones to bring to life, which was very fun.
I can go because I'm the least exciting. I had like one idea, like two ideas. I think this campaign was fresh off of me playing a werewolf. I played an Urban Shadows game with Eli Elliott over on Forward, where I was a werewolf who just like was like a lot of things, mostly horny. Um, and I said, monsters are cool. And I don't really think I don't think I want to play anything else like on these playbooks. Like there's a lot of good playbooks. I played Monster Week a few times. And then I was like, okay, let's do the monstrous. I don't fucking know what kind of monster I want to be, but I guess I'll be angry because my like philosophy in creating characters is A, don't think about it too hard. And B, try something new that I haven't done before. And playing, I usually play characters that are very like calm, rational, level-headed, deeply autistic. This time I was like, you know what, let's get like kind of emotional. Let's play a character that like just feels through everything. And my first thought was anger, and then I said, well, I don't want to play a black character that's just angry. Let's have a little bit more dimensions to it. So I said, okay, how about like every emotion as strong as possible. And that was like an idea that I had like a day before the our like get together. Um and it just kind of it worked, especially given how everyone else in the cast was playing their characters in our like session 0.5, that I could just be this whirlwind of a character. And then I like read their, and Monster of the Week is really good at facilitating like building your character. So I literally didn't have to like write anything. I like went through the stuff and I thought like for a half second, okay, sure, siphoning energy sounds cool. Vampire, I guess. Chris had to hound me for like days to like pick what monster I would be because I was like,
He was just
I
like, I was
want
like,
them
what are
all.
what are you?
Because I was like, I don't know, Chris. I just want to suck soul and vibe. Come on, expand your
CJ is an
mind.
enigma, cannot be pinned down.
Because part of me was like, okay, you have weaknesses. It's like, okay, what are you? It's like,
It's
yeah,
fucking
what are
rhino.
you? Just like all the.
It's like you keep asking me, and I won't have an answer. But here's one.
I think it turned out great the way, because thank God for like we had the 100 questions, because I think that really helped me determine like what are we gonna take this from? Because like you're already a monster, it's like how do you feel about that? But it was it was funny because it was just started off as just I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire. Fantastic. For two others, what were your ideas when you were making your characters? How did you bring these feral creatures to life?
Oh boy. Oh gee. Oh golly. Um, One thing I do to like kind of stand out in a group is to like play the opposite of the general consensus of the group. So when it came to a bunch of jackasses, a bunch of horny jackasses, I needed to, to be some kind of straight person. I wanted to play the straight man. And I initially planned for Heaven just as the chosen, kind of find flaws within that. So it's not main character syndrome. Um, but they were supposed to have such a large, massive ego, really held together and perfection through and through, which does happen from time to time, but that's not their complete personality. So I kind of stayed what I intended to, with someone who's kind of not together, still a disaster like the rest of them. And of course, just playing a sibling with C, oh my goodness, how can I not? Um, End up being just fantastic because I was always late to chats and updates and stuff, and somehow I still had a character that came together. So I love her so much. Um, I love Heaven a lot. I didn't expect to have so many brain worms, but this is just such a great group. And y'all are the fertilizer. Y'all are the shit, really. I love you so much.
That is a new term I gotta use more. Does it give me brainworms and y'all the shit? I mean, I love Heaven as well because it's like I originally thought Heaven was gonna go very. I thought they were gonna be opposite. What's the word? They were gonna be opposite. They were gonna be against the party a lot. And you can figure out what the word is from there. But it was very interesting to see that you took Heaven more in like a observant kind of person of like they kind of observed everything before they acted, which was what nobody in this in the rest of this party did at all. Just react. I see a demon at a wedding, shoot them in the face. So it's interesting to see that more calm side of this crew.
Speaking of the shit, Eden, a nightmare. Building Eden, I don't really quite know what happened. I feel like it was a fever dream and then they happened in my hands and I was like, all right, I guess here they are. Horrible little creature. I like to usually pick like one or two archetypes or like themes or like even like references from different media that feels particularly inspiring when I'm building a character. So I was like, I want to play a twin. Like that's just been on my mind. I want to play a sibling dynamic in like the next game I'm in. So I was like, hey Vin, hi, hello, how are you? And then the other thing is like, well, where do I want to go from there? I was like, I want to play the most wretched PC that I've ever like gotten to play. Someone who is actually like truly fucked up, because similarly to Humna, I think I really love to play Monstrosity, and like all angles of Monstrosity are really fun for me. So even though Chris threw a wrench into my plans and made good old Eden Angel, I really also like to play with like the question of what is a monster? Like, is a monster, or is a monster a person, or is a monster a choice, or is a monster an angel? Is an angel a monster? So on and so forth. So I think that's kind of where I was really coming from with Eden, like playing, especially like at a table where we had two characters who were very specifically like monstrous in terms of like being the child of the devil or like being a literal vampire. And I was like, okay, I'm going to play a guy, but he's going to be the worst guy. He's going to be worse than those other guys, actually. So that was my goal with Eden. And playing that out and like finding the little like pieces of who they are and like the kind of story about, because ultimately, like, while I like to play with monstrosity, I also really like to tell stories about growth and hope and change. And seeing like how low can I put this character to start, like to see how much growth they can have, like over 10 episodes, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, however long it'll be. So just kind of like chipping away at their character like that, being like, okay, how can I make this hurt a little more, but also like see the end point where it's not just like bogged down in they are a really wretched person. It's like, okay, why are they like this? And how can like we see that growth like through their relationships developing with the other characters and stuff. So I saw a rat and I said, that's mine for me. Thank you very much. Add to cart.
I was always intrigued by Eden because also you chose the Hex, which is like, the Hex is very open kind of playbook. Because for ours, I kind of opened it up because again, the basic ones that were in the original game were kind of lacking in terms of monstrosity, so I opened it up to some more stuff. And the Hex was one of the interesting ones because there's just a move where it's like write something and then we'll see where it goes. And it's very interesting to see how you went with that and how that's developed even further into something truly terrifying as me as a GM. And then also trying to pick up a vibe on what kind of Eden is. And it's like, I figured out right quick in episode 2, and you just like, no questions asked, just immediately shoot the team. I knew where this table was going from that moment there, because I still was kind of figuring out where we wanted to go. I figured it out in that moment. It's like, okay, we're going to feral territory. This is going to be very unhinged, and has been very unhinged, which is always fantastic to watch. And I think on that note of shooting NPCs are a great part of this. And with that, kind of, what were your favorite? Yeah, I look CJ rapidly.
It's baby girl time.
Baby girl time. It's like time to show off your collection to the world.
The baby
kind of
girl catalog.
Yeah, the baby girl catalog. What is your favorite are some of your favorite NPCs that you've encountered, whether they be alive or dead. It does not matter uh, in that context. But what were some of your favorite PCs?
All right,
NPCs, there
CJ,
we go.
let's go. Baby girl catalog.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
NPC. Yeah,
So
go on.
I should have, if I knew this was a question, I would have come up with a literal list. So I have to go off of my mind. Top baby girl, Rocco. Rocco is funny because I know Rocco was just kind of there, and not meant to be anything. And I didn't like pick Rocco up because that was the point. I picked Rocco up because Rocco was pathetic. Um, baby girl number two. I think Frank, Chris did a really good job of making Frank into a real, like a person, a legitimate person, that allowed Vic to be able to like look at that and be like, I can be something more than a monster. I can be a monster and a person, but also a monster. Baby girl number three, Vasco, wasn't up there before. But last episode, when Vasco got attacked by raccoons, I said, finally, Chris, you're giving me what I need. This is what I've been waiting for, the moment. That's all my baby girls. Outside of the baby girls, I really like Dell. Because I mean, how can I not? That's Vic's ex. And it's so unfortunate because every single time that Vic is like, I'm gonna go talk to Dell, like something bad, like something worse is happening. Whenever that Dell is around, bad things are happening, and it's never because of Dell.
I love the baby girl frication of Rocco was the first to just like, oh well, here's the pet of the party, because it's like there's always that one NPC or person when you're just like, they're not gonna be important. It's a one and go, and you go, no, I'm saving you and taking you into my home, especially where it's a home that was run by agents of just like, who is this? Who, you can't just bring people in. And he goes, I don't care, and just brought him in, and now he's just assimilated, just like, well, I got nothing else to do. So it's also been funny also of just you collecting ever so slight. 'Cause I can see when I introduce someone, and I can see when you're like, they will be mine. Just plotting in the corner, which was just fun to just watch happen. Uh, but yeah, fantastic. And what about everybody else?
I really like Tyr, and by like Tyr I mean I hate Tyr, which means that I like Tyr. I think you did a great job of introducing Tyr, making us hate Tyr, and then making us cry about Tyr in like literally 3 episodes. Just really, really well done. And I think that like whole development of Tyr is kind of like a like I suppose like B story villain or like mini boss, I suppose, for lack of a better term, villain slash antagonist in the campaign was really well done, and I have always really enjoyed your portrayal of Tyr and like all of the layers of that of the Sandman, so to speak.
It's funny because you guys treated him like he was the main campaign villain, and just like, there's somebody else right after this. There's another guy. It's like, nah, this is the guy right here. He planned this whole thing from the get. It was funny to see, just like you were all like, we gotta get him. We gotta get him. I don't care who we're fighting this week. We gotta get him. And I think I only made it worse by egging him on you guys, which was he was a great villain. I always love doing
He
villains.
had personally wronged so many of us. There was no way we weren't gonna latch on to that. Like,
First, I should have known. I was like, if you personally has messed up your life and did it on purpose, he's gonna be the focus.
and I took that personally. Speaking of villains, though, honestly, my favorite NPCs are a lot of the villains. Like, I love the Dread King as a villain. I like villains that like we get to. I like when we get to see the big bad, so to speak, like throughout the campaign in some way, and get to like interact with them in some way, rather than them kind of just showing up at the end and like doing the thing and whatever. Like, I like that we got to meet the Dread King and like talk to him and like kind of sort of little bit understand like why he's doing what he's doing or like what he's doing. Um, the Dread King is like has a lot of layers, I feel like, as a villain. Like, there's this like level-headedness to him, and this like very steely determination. Honestly, the Dread King's also just hot. So I like the Dread King could get it. So I don't know. That also helps a lot. I personally really like that one. Of the AD, one of my favorite villains is the couple from the Eden episode that we did. The like fucking Adam's family esque like two couple that were together, Morticia and Gomez, kind of vibes that we were getting out of them. I really liked the way that the two of them, like, you used them to facilitate everything that was happening during that episode, and them kind of being like show hosts in a way, for the play and everything like that. They just had really good energy, and I feel like you played off of yourself really well, like between the two of them, to like build a chemistry and like a little back and forth, and it was very entertaining for me to watch, and yeah, so I really liked those in particular.
Yeah, I they were gonna be they were menacing. I didn't it was crazy. I talk, if you don't know or haven't seen the show, I talk to myself a lot in order to help build an atmosphere. So apparently they find it very interesting when I could just talk to myself back and forth. Which is, yeah, I'm crazy, so that's what I do most of the time. But it was very interesting for them too. Also, I can't believe that you people were down bad for the Drug King. I wrote him and they be like, yo, he's a little messed up, and all of you are just like, ah, mira.
So are we. We're also a little bit messed up. I don't know if you knew that, Chris.
I was just like me introducing him, and I'm thinking, oh, there's gonna be fear and terror, and it's just all of you with rose cheeks. What's going on here? What's going? I don't think I did my job right. Did I do it too sexy? What was it?
No, you did the correct. No, you did a good job. That's how you know you did a good job.
I love him, mi amor. But they were very interesting, and the AD is also it's one of the reasons why I chose Monster of the Week, because it's like I wanted to focus the episode on a different monster each week, and it's just like, instead of it just being a monster and blah, it was interesting to put backstory to them. And then again, another reason why episode 5 is my favorite is because I got to play them, because they're inside your head and they can do whatever they want, and it's like, of course they're gonna have a good time. They've always had a good time, which was fantastic to play through. And yeah, what about you, Vin?
I can't believe nobody's mentioned her. Naomi, she's my favorite NPC for all the damage she's done to us, and you did a great job of being a deadbeat parent who think they can walk back into someone's life. No experience, by the way, but it was just great. Like, it's, you want to feel bad for her, at the same time you don't. And just A plus, 900 out of 10. Can't stand her.
Look, it's hard being a single parent of all these monsters. You gotta give them credit when credit's due. We don't know if she's good or evil, because apparently everybody in this chat here thinks she's evil. They're like, no way can she get away with all this shit and be evil. So we'll find out in the next 2 episodes. But they already made up their mind of, this is an evil person. I think one of my favorites, that hopefully we'll probably see one more time, is Melora, which is the queen of the local fae. Part of it is, yes, the way I play them, but also because of the sort of cultural significance that they had, because they call themselves the Caracaracol, which is something based off my culture, which is Taíno. So the Caracaracol is the real myth that our people have about this sort of scarred person who communicates with the gods. So they're equivalent. I got that idea, and I also saw Wakanda Forever and saw Namor kicking ass. So it's like, let's just combine these two. And really, that movie really made me change the Fae that I had, because the Fae I originally had were going to be very much more European-esque. And then I saw that movie and it's like, I don't have to do this shit, and just throw it out and rewrote them. Which I think is one of my favorites, but that's one of my favorite NPCs that we had there. Um, and going on to a different topic here, kind of. This show has a lot of twists, more twists than I even thought I was gonna do, but we've had a lot of them. So many twists, I think we can make Twizzlers out of them. That's a bad joke, but I made it anyway. But with that, what were some of our favorite twists, or whether it be plot points, or something happened, or learning about things? What were some of our favorites?
I gotta say it. Finding out that the twins were angels, like, hello? Hello? I was operating under the assumption that like Eden is just some guy and Heaven is like the chosen one, but also is like human. And you were like, oh, here's a book. It has all of the angels in it. Also, Heaven and Eden's name are in it. And I was like, what? Hello? What? Like, I can't. That
Ruins me.
That fucked me up. That fucked me up.
Again, stronger reaction than what I thought was gonna go down. I think we would have been like, "Oh, well, that's interesting." Now you all like, stop everything we're doing. Just, I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." Apparently, this is serious. There's a lot of moments where I'm like, "It's just gonna go by fast," and it's like, "Nope, you like stop. We need to talk about this." So it was very interesting to see that reaction pop up.
The Dread King showing up in Eden's brain in their literal mind palace, having them walk. I was like, this is terrifying. Oh my fucking god. That was a really good twist that I did not see coming at all.
Yeah, it was kind of what Humna brought out of like, I was like at episode 5 is like we gotta start showing the big bad at some point because you can't just fight them at the end. It would have been no emotional weight to it. So just like I might as well have them show up. And it was also interesting that he showed up not in the sense of, oh, I'm gonna help. I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? And it's just like I think it was a great introduction of him. So I was very happy the way he has turned out and how he will turn out. Hopefully we'll see what happens there. What about CJ and Finn? What about you guys?
The Dread King showing up to kill my friends was, I don't know why I didn't see it coming. You'd said so many things about it happening, and yet, nevertheless, I was like, oh, the episode's over, and then like a scene more. Hey, by the way, here's 2 people that you care about. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is an appropriate consequence to my own actions.
It was very, you surprised me because I was like, someone's gonna die. I was like, okay, someone will die. And you go, no. I mean, what do you mean, no? Oh, no. It's just, I was like, I had to be like, okay.
Dethrone the GM.
Yeah, it was like points were points to do. You came up with an option C, which I never thought would be possible. And you rolled and you succeeded. I was like, you got this for now. just like back away and win this one. But it was interesting to see you. It was like panic. You were trying to figure out in the middle. It just but it was interesting. Your choice was interesting. And then what about you then?
Well, I was gonna say ditto with Hamna. The angel bit was fantastic, but I don't know if it's considered a twist, but a moment that I found shocking was the vial Eden had been working for Misfit. That was really nice.
That was gay. That was so
was.
gay.
I love gay secrecy and crime.
When you were like, yeah, this is what Eden's been working on this whole time, I was like, what do you
know, all seven of those years where they were working for the Vatican that everyone gives them shit for. Yeah,
It felt so right. It was so correct. It was literally right after Misfit like decided I'm gonna fucking bully you about you not caring about me, and then us as the audience is like, damn, here, take this L, Misfit. Here you go.
I took so many L's, okay? It was not that singular one. Let me just say.
Yeah, but that one was the most important in my book.
Speaking of L's and twists, though, I think we have to give a special shout out to the sniper in this past episode.
Special shout out to the COD players.
Shout out to the sniper. That was a twist that shouldn't have been a twist.
I love how you're like, I saw, because I rewatched the episodes just so I could catch up and then also see how I did. And I just saw all your faces of like, just like, no, oh God. That sniper again, one of the moments of like, it's gonna, I was like, I set it up, they're gonna, nope, still, still wholly distracted. A sniper, 10 out of 10. Man's got prestige up the wazoo. Good on him. But I think for me, the most surprising twist were the gay love scenes. Both gay love scenes. If you don't know which ones I'm talking about, the one with Heaven giving themselves up, just giving themselves. That was the first one because it was just in that sense of, oh, just no one was doing anything. Evan was just walking. I was waiting for a plan. I was like, oh no, they're just not doing anything. And just everybody else just watching. I was like, all right. And then just Vic comes in again with option C. There was a lot of option C's here from Vic, where it's just like, this is A or B. You go C. It's on the test. I put C. It's like, well, you know what? Credit is credit still. But that was interesting. And then also, you turning to Divine, which I never thought was going to happen. Very interesting. And I think it's just the angel thing, I think, helped also push that in that direction. And then the other one was the most gayest scene I've ever had the pleasure of GMing, which was the just literal heart to heart between Eden and Misfit, which was almost made me cry. I had to give you the heart thing. I was not gonna make you roll and then fail. But like, well, looks like gay love doesn't win, and I couldn't be that guy.
Homophobia.
I can't have that on my resume. Yeah, it's like, it's just, I had to give it. There's moments where just like, you got to give this to the player. They've gone through all this work. You can't just slam dunk on them, go rejector. You can't do that. But it was a very good scene. It also will have very great consequences later on. But beyond that,
Hold on. There's
Oh,
consequences?
Consequences?
What consequences
You did.
in this
Hey,
game?
you did give half your heart, Bessie. I feel like that's gonna come up.
The doctor
again.
thinks it's gonna be very.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's
half
gay!
a heart. It's half a
Gay
heart.
love can't win. Every
We've all
time.
got half the
Never
heart.
had.
You've got half the heart. I've got half the heart. We're okay.
We're fine.
That
Tony's
feels-
got after. What do you want him to do? You got after. But very interesting. You don't have to worry about that, Mythics. You don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
concerned. I'm so concerned.
I put you on the edge with a sniper. What do you think I'm gonna do with half a heart?
Wording?
Maybe we'll see. But with that,
Enough.
lovely stuff. We talked about that. We also have a bit of horror. We had some horror, not too much. But what are your favorite terrifying moments? I know we touched a little bit on it, but what were kind of those moments that really made you go, like, I'm going to die here. This is scary as hell. I don't want to be here right now. What were those moments of, I need to just get the fuck out. I need to just leave. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Vin. Vin, you go.
I guess I'll say it. It was more because I was really in character. The memory with Heaven and Eden, when Heaven became the chosen one, y'all had set the scene up so well, and it was very terrifying in character. Me, I wasn't so scared, but I was in the moment, so that was great spooks.
Misfit turning into their devil form, and by heart pounding, I mean, yeah. .com. That's my answer. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Mommy?
Monster fucker C joins chat. I think for me it was I can't remember if I think this was the beginning of episode 5, and it was when Heaven and Eden were like just the two of them, like early in the morning or like late at night or something, and just shit was happening. There was like the record player going off by itself, and then like the TV did like a funky thing, and then like the colors started to drain. Like it was like a whole thing that you had painted, and I could like see it in my brain as you were describing it. That was actually top tier horror movie moments. Like that should be an animatic because that was great.
How
I
about you,
agree. That was
CJ?
deeply upsetting. Not in a bad way, but I was like, oh, I know they're gonna be okay because I read what's gonna happen next, but I was still like, hate this. I think for me, it would probably have to be again the Dread King thing with Frank and Dell, but I think even more suspense heart pounding for me was the heaven scene, was the gay love scene, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing during that. I was like, I guess if I can remember it in my mind because I as CJ and I as Vic was like, is this really what you want? Because I was like, I need you to tell me something right now, Vinvox VA. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then Vin's like, heaven is crying. And I was like, oh, okay, I can work with this.
I love it, just like, I'm not a doctor, but I can try. It's just like this most complicated magic. I'm just shoving it in, which is fantastic. I think for me, I would say the Eden scene of them, just all their secrets laid to bear. Because not only were just you watching, the enemy was watching. Like the remaining AD all saw that, which is completely horrifying. And then the other one, it didn't get as scary as I wanted it to be because we were running out of time. Morgan was another one, which was very scary. Because I didn't get to it, but I originally had him. He would have gotten a maze, and it would have been like, we gotta find him in the maze as the house is burning. I didn't get to do that, but I was so close. We ran out of time, but I wanted it to just be like in the maze, people dying left and right. It would have been the most horrifying shit. But he did his job of slicing people in half. I think I still good, but I wish I had the hedge scene. Um, and speaking of the AD, I think maybe depending on our time, either our last question or second to last question, we fought a bunch of people. The AD, which are, if you don't know, it does stand for something. The Acolytes of Disorder. That's what they stand for. And with that, you fought a lot of them, different variations, different horrifying scenarios. And with that, which one was your favorite one to fight? Which one of these was your favorite fight scenario of these guys? I will say for me, I think one of the most fun I had doing was, you didn't really fight the couple. That one doesn't kind of count because you didn't get time to fight them. But I think Kalina was one of my favorites because it was very Scott Pilgrim isk, which I was very excited for. So it was one of my favorite ones that I got to play. What about you? What about you?
I think for me, it's hard because I have two. I feel like for me it is either the first episode, which isn't yeah, it's either the first episode, or it is the most recent one that we did. So the fight with Tyr. So one of those two, I think, would be my favorites. I just like them both for like different reasons. The first one felt like a really good like team fight. Like the first one we did, we were all together and like there was a lot of like I feel like back and forth and like jumping off of each other, and like sort of like building on what the other people were doing in that one, and I feel like that fight in particular, kind of in my head anyway, before all of the shit hit the fan with our characters, they had the most reason to like properly work together at that point, and so I really liked that. And then the most recent one I really liked because I got to have a fucking one-on-one duel with Tyr, and that was amazing. And but also in addition to that, I liked seeing all of the other characters do similar one-on-one duels with like the other children of the devil. It was just really cool in my head, just the way that it was happening, like on the roof there's like this fight happening, and then underneath it, like I feel like the camera like pans down and then you see like the other three also having their own one-on-one fights with like demons, and that just in my head is a really cool vision.
I think it's one of my most favorite things in terms of the way I approach to narrate this, because I feel like our story has a very comic book feely to it. Because it's in the sense of like you have one on ones, and I think it was a very wise choice that we decided to go on instead of it being just a regular fight of you take harm and blah, blah, blah. I think it was very better, and we might keep it in case any of those one-on-ones happen, of just contest it. Because it was, as you saw, like it would have been someone would have got folded very fast, but for the most part, it was much more thematically fulfilling that we had the contestant, because you won, he lost, and it was back and forth. So I really did enjoy that, and doing that quick mechanic there. What about the rest of my lovely crew? What are your favorites?
I'll echo, probably because it's also in my brain. The tear fight was just so great, especially with the emotions afterward, and that Oscar-worthy performances from you and Hamna. Oh my gosh! And the descriptions and like the anime crawl and the child bit cut me up. Just amazing. And then nothing happened. I saw the episode ended. They sat there as in their kids and hugged, and like
Yeah,
everything was
they
great.
grow
And
of old
nothing.
age. They just completely
Yeah.
got to the hospital on
Actually, tears on
time.
our side now. I just
Yeah,
rewrote the episode. I talked to the network. It got approved. Uh, yeah, tears with us. He's in our hearts.
rewrites.
Yeah, rewrites. Yeah, we'll re-record it this week actually. Wednesday. Forgot to tell y'all.
Yeah. Re-recorded. They're gonna be video edits. They're gonna be video edits. Don't worry.
Unhinged. I have two. My first one is not even because we were fighting AD. It's the wedding episode because it was so unbelievably messy. C comes in, shotguns. That's the first shotgun tooth moment because I was like, "What the fuck?" It was shotgun tooth immediately into I think Vic like stabbing someone with their claws. Immediately into Misfit calling down the apocalypse for the first time. Immediately into that making Vic go like buck wild and biting Misfit. The entire episode. That that fight was the epitome of the Mythic Initiative. The monsters come second, our drama comes first.
I think you just found our like tagline.
Yeah,
That's the
it's like-
tagline.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
think
god.
It was so fucking hilarious because it's just like he hadn't even planned. You just didn't hear it, and it's just like you just shot him. He's not even your family. He's like just like, I don't want to hear this guy anymore, and just shot him. You look like the bad guys, especially it's like the next episode after. It's like, hey, Vasco said hey, we're a secret agency, and just pulls in a videotape of just like a shaky news camera. Just get in the close up.
God.
That's not
So
us.
that's not you.
It's not
That's
us.
not
No,
you.
literally,
That's not
you
us.
said that. You
I
were
did.
like, that's
I
not
didn't
us.
say it in character. That's not us.
I was like, oh.
Was that episode 2 or 1? Was that episode 1
That's
or 2?
2.
That was 2. That's what I thought. I
Yeah.
remember I like had really bad bleed after that episode.
Because you went feral. And
I did. I was whirlwind in that episode. And then because I'm selfish, my second favorite one was the first time Vic went monster in episode 3 again. 3 against
Yeah, it was.
Kalina. I think it was. I just was imagining Amber from Danny Phantom the entire time.
Pretty
and then Vic
much
threw a pillar at her.
Yeah. Just a whole radio tower directly in. It's just people enjoying themselves. Like, oh, this is a cool. This is real.
Shit.
It's just everybody. Fantastic. And then what about you, C?
I was actually also gonna say the episode 3 fight with Kalina. I also feel like that was peak our mess comes first. Especially because of I think the fallout, like the fight itself was really fun, and you had like a bunch of different things that were happening, like with the souls underneath and the like music and the shield and the dam. So there were like a lot of things to like draw our attention, but also us. I remember the moment where Misfit was like, bite me. And then Heaven was like, in the chains on the ground, like, bite me. And then Eden was also like, bite me.
The Misfit with a random civilian, bite him.
Yeah, exactly. And like all of the fallout of that was so juicy and so good. It was like one of my favorite episodes and one of my favorite fights against the AD for sure. And then also, I will also say that we didn't fight the couple in episode 5. But I do feel like they hurt us. I'll speak for myself. They hurt me the most. I really think that we would have lost if we went up against them personally, or at least I would have. So I think that was also really a fun combat encounter, so to speak.
See, I wouldn't say that the couple hurt me. I would say Eden hurt me that episode.
I think it was both.
I think it was the couple's fault.
Eden backhanded me that episode. What are you talking
Oh.
about?
That's true. Yeah, we forgot about that. We forgot about the backhand. The strong backhand.
Yeah, no, we did do that. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Even I was
What's
like,
that about making a monstrous PC? Human worse than a monster?
Yeah, you're
Yikes.
literally the worst.
No, Eden
literally
is.
the
That's.
worst.
I think that's actually so funny. That's one of the things I really like, though, is that like in a party full of monsters, the worst monster, quote unquote, that we had was just some guy. Like, I think that is so. Like,
Humanity.
I think thematically, like that was a really interesting choice to like kind of go down.
that scene was crazy because it's like everybody was in the room. It wasn't like you just, dude, everybody saw that. Even the enemy was like, oh, damn. And just like, what's going on over there? I thought you said they were a team. And just like, just a strong backhand. And just like them awkwardly, like they were walking in too and just like, you know, watch out for them. And just, but that couple really did a number of all you. It really did a number. And they didn't fight you. They got squashed, but it was really amazing that this couple that didn't physically do anything to you ended you emotionally, which means I think I did my job right.
They felt the most real, like in terms of like people that were just like, that was the point at which I, as CJ and Vic, were like, hey, yo, are we doing the right thing? Because these people seem to have like a lot of legitimate gripes and traumas. And maybe we should calm down. And then the next episode, you served us like a guy with guns that's like, I want to become a Nifflin. And that's like, well, they can't all be good.
They can't all be. You know what? I think these are good people. Guy just running around town murdering people for blood. Well, maybe not. Most of them had a good reason. I think even he had a good reason because his whole shtick was kind of just, he saw injustice everywhere, and especially that his character is another person that I faced off of historical. It was a gunslinger who he was Mexican and lost his home in the Mexican-American War, and then sequentially he lost people after people, and then became an outlaw. And through that, he saw what I'm doing is the right thing, and these people deserve it. So it was very much that mindset I brought with him in there. Just like he tried his best to do the right thing, but then at the end of the day, he's like, "What I know is the right thing to do." So even he had, but he was a little bit crazier. But they were all had valid reasons. Also, I think the Siphon, in terms of their reasoning, because they were just power hungry. That was all their deal. They would just wanted to eat, but. Yeah, all great villains overall. And I think since we're kind of running out of time, I think the last question that we'll kind of ask is, what are we looking forward to in the finale? We have a 2-part finale this Thursday at 8 p.m. Central over here. We're going to have a 2-part finale, which our first one is this week. So what are we looking forward to as we finish up this season?
I took a capstone move for the Hex playbook, and I am so excited for it. I am simply so excited for it. That's all.
I'm excited for us to not kill the Dread King.
I'm
Because I know it's
excited-
gonna. Go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, here's the thing. I want to kill the Dread King, but I know it's going to be a whole thing. Naomi's going to be like, even if Naomi's not evil, Naomi's going to be like, don't kill my guy. And we're going to be like, your son literally kills people. And it's going to be like morally ambiguous. And like we're going to have to like find a weakness because Vic can't hit them. None of us can. We've seen it like twice at least. They like do kinetic energy. So that's a problem. That's a problem that we're gonna have to fucking figure out. And I'm very deeply interested to see how that goes. And to look cool doing it.
Similarly, I'm excited to make out with the Dread King.
just out of nowhere, just make out entirely. So it cuts to black and then returns right back to where oh yeah, or just Final Fantasy pause and and then return back to the fight. Again, I don't know why you people are on. I can't get it, but that's just me. With that, what about you, Vin?
I am ready for these kids to have a break. I'm ready for like the epilogue where they're driving down a Mitzvah's car down a highway in the beach and they're still arguing and bickering over the radio station or where they're gonna stop first. Um, I'm ready for like the fluffy downtime between these four now that they're close together.
It's bold of you to assume that everyone leaves. Nah.
You right, you right.
Yeah, that's
I'll have
right.
my
I
new
said
sheet
that.
by next week. Yeah.
Burn it, just digitally burn. I'm excited because this next finale is two-parter, and also it involves a lot of the NPCs that we've seen, so we get to see most everybody come back, and also we get to see the community as a whole in terms of how they're going to deal with the situation this week. So it's very exciting to see how this turns out, and also the fight is going to be very exciting towards the end. There's a lot of twists. We'll see if I could type the sniper. The sniper seems like nobody could type the sniper. The twist that everyone saw but still was surprised at. But we'll see. And I think with that, I think that's a great place to stop our little talk back. Once again, thank you for everybody joining us. And to reintroduce ourselves, my name is Chris Cologne. I am, you know what? I'm doing this backwards. First off, Humna, please reverse order there.
I mean, you're welcome to go first if you like, but hello, everybody. I don't know why I said that in that voice. I really don't. Don't question it. I'm tired. Hello, everybody. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects I'm a part of. I'm on a lot of different APs, so Twitter's the best place to know where I am at any given point in time. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be over on Going Crit RPG's channel playing Itaewon by Night, which is our Vampire the Masquerade campaign. It is absolutely unhinged and feral. We're doing a murder mystery. Cerise just killed a woman. Just straight up murdered. So that's fun. And we're gonna see the consequences of my actions tomorrow, probably. It's gonna be fine. And with that, I am gonna pass it over to CJ.
Hi everyone, I'm tucking Humna in because they're tired. I never have anything in my mind ever. My mind is a cage, an enigma even. I don't know. Watch me do things, follow my Twitter, or don't, because Twitter's kind of weird. Follow my TikTok and follow my YouTube sometimes. It looks cool over there, I like to think. I've been making TikTok videos. Watch me make opinions. They're always right. And that's by design. That's all I got. I'm passing it to. I'm not, I don't want to pass it to Vinvox VA because they don't seem to believe me, but I have to. Tossing it to you.
Thanks. Anyway, again, guys, I'm Vin Fox VA on Twitter, on Insta. I don't think Hive is a thing anymore, but I'm on Hive too. If anybody else is still there, catch all my announcements on my Twitter. That's where I put on my cool stuff, casting calls for tabletop and voiceover, because I want to see you guys be involved in things. And I'm gonna toss it to my twin. See.
Oh, hey, that's me. Hello. My name's C. I used to, I don't know what just happened. I like literally
Did you
blacked out
lag?
a little bit. Hi. I fully blacked out for a minute there. Hi, my name is C. I'm okay. I use they them pronouns. You can find me keeper trans very gay art on the internet at PieSharpArt. If you want to know what I'm doing at any given time, check out my Twitter. You can also find me sometimes on other places at CPlays or PieSharpArt. You'll have to do a little bit of exploring if you want to know where I am at any given time. But you know what? It's about the journey, not the destination. So you're welcome. You can find me on Thursday back here. Sometimes on Mondays, I'm over on Exquisite Corpse. And on Saturdays, you can always find me for the remainder of Arcade, the finale season of Transplanter RPGs, The Second Stranger. Connie's recording something in the room. I should not scream, but here we are. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays on Transplanter RPG. We're in our final season. We have literally so much content and with so many different ways that you can catch up on that content if you're not caught up. We're in our final season. It's a lot. I am going to start crying about it imminently, like in the next few minutes if I keep going. So Chris, it's your turn now.
Fantastic. As always, I am the lovely keeper proceeding over these series. I am Chris Cologne. You can find me on my Twitter at VO_Cologne. That's COLON. I'm a voice actor. Got my webpage there. I'm going to be updating stuff soon. And as always, you can catch our show. We have 2 more episodes left until we finish our first season here. And with that, we're going to raid because the night is still young. It looks like Girls Run These Worlds seems to be live right now, so we're going to raid over them. So with that, please stick around so you can join those lovely folks there, and we shall see you hopefully this Thursday. Have a good night, everyone.